Hi everyone, happy Paca Tuesday. I'm Tasha with Butterfield Alpaca Ranch. Today I'm going to show you what I do on a day-to-day basis, just kind of like my everyday chores. When there's nothing extra to do, this is the stuff that I would do every day. So to start off with, I'm going to enter the barn. I'm at the girls' barn right now, but I first get greeted by all the cats, and they require attention first. There they are. Alright, so these are the three that always greet me at the door. Bonnie, Mr. Wonderful, the noisemaker, and then out here is Eddie, who came after the kitty video I made, so you haven't met him yet. But he's just a month or so younger than Bonnie. And Charlie always waits for me up on the bin. Yes. But they all want attention. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I feed them first. Yes. Everyone has something to say. Yeah. Okay, so after the cats are fed and given some attention, I move on to the alpaca food. And I do a few different things with this. This bin, you can see it's green. It's fabulous. It came with the barn. It's meant to just hold grain for horses because that's what this barn was built for. But I just have it to store all my different bags of feed. Over on this side, that's what I have is just different bags, and this is more like supplies, and the cat food's on this side, and kind of miscellaneous tools and things that I use for this part of life here. So to start off with, I have separate bowls for Bridget and Joy. Bridget right now is nursing, so she needs extra nutrition. Joy is within a couple of weeks of delivering, so you know, the end of her last trimester, she's needing extra nutrition, and of course when she's nursing, then she'll need extra nutrition too. So I make special bowls for them, catered to whatever phase their body is going in right now. And then the other girls, I'll show you outside, but in the lean-to of the barn, I have feeders hanging off of the wall, and so I just go along and fill the feeders. So I'll fill this big feeder, and I'll use that to dish out into the smaller feeders outside. And that can be a very interesting experience depending on the attitude of the other girls. So on a separate video, I'll go deeper into actual alpaca nutrition and how you choose what to feed them and why. But in the meantime, I do have just kind of like an all-stock feed from my local Tractor Supply. Joy and Bridget get a base of this. This is just a cup, but I fill that up. Joy, because she's at the end of her trimester, I give her what's called calf banna. I've used this for a number of things. It's just an extra boost of nutrition. I've used it for those that are skinny or who've come to me and never were on any type of pellet feed and obviously needed some nutritional help other than their regular grass or hay. So I give her about half a cup of this. I also have a blend of herbs. This is a homemade version of something that I bought before, but these are herbs that help with lactation for the alpacas and llamas. And I did give it to Bridget. So what this does is it helps them produce milk and more milk, which of course if there's more milk available, the baby has more to eat and will be healthier, but it also helps the mom recover from delivery faster. I used it with Bridget, like I said, worked like a charm. I gave it to her for, you know, a month after Gus was born. I've given it to Joy and it gives her really bad diarrhea. So there's one of these herbs, or one or more, that just doesn't agree with her system. You know, a couple days after I stop giving it to her, then she clears up. and it's just fine, so I've stopped giving it to her, and that's why I make sure I give her the calf manna, that extra something. And I'll just kind of keep an eye on it to see if she's producing enough milk. Alpacas usually don't have an issue with that, but it's just something to keep in mind. And then I top off these bowls with minerals, and this is actually a sheep mineral. It's a loose stuff. I find this is better than like the block of mineral that you may use for cattle or something. They can handle the block. I actually have a salt block out there that they do lick on and with their lips and stuff. But when it comes to minerals, this just seems to do a lot better for the way that they eat. So I put a generous amount on the top of each of these bowls. And for right now, that's pretty much it. You know, this is going to vary depending on the phase of their pregnancy or nursing or whatever their dietary needs are. So I just put that to the back. And then I just layer in here the pellets and the minerals. And then I can scoop both of them together outside. All right, so now I have the bowls for Joy and Bridget, and they are trained to go in their own stalls and eat by themselves. And you saw that Gus went in with his mom. He's trained to do that too. Hope they don't knock over the camera. As you can see, the girls can get pretty territorial about their food. And the amount of noise that they make when I feed them kind of depends on the time of year, how well the pasture is, so how much they've been eating. I do have a bale out here for them now to compensate for the fall pasture. Kind of depends on the time of day. There's some that are definitely more greedy than others. There are some that just simply won't fight for the food. And when it gets down to the last remnants, you might hear some really good talk in there for the ones that want the last little bit on for themselves. I do have a feeder out here for each one of them, but they like going from feeder to feeder, trying to get more. And you hear some of them defending the feeder that they're eating out of as another tries to come up and eat out of it. While they finish up eating, I do things like check their water. I usually just top it off. Consolidate the poop piles, and that's going to be a whole nother video on its own. Thanks, Bridget. And then I check the level of their minerals and, well, say and the salt block, but the salt block doesn't matter. I'll show you the minerals. So this is Jewel. She's eating the minerals. I keep a feeder full of it out here, and they just eat it whenever they want. You know, they feel when they have a need for some of those. So it's called free choice. It's just out all the time. It's the same minerals that I put in their feed that they just ate. But what's cute is, since it's loose, they have to do that. And if she'll face us, they actually get like pink lips from the mineral sticking to it. You see right here, this is the little salt block I had. Once upon a time, I had gotten one of those big 50-pound blocks, but it took forever for them to eat it or to lick it. They don't really lick, they kind of use their lips, kind of like what Jula's doing for the minerals. They pick them up with their lips more so than their tongue. It's kind of hard to see. It's dark in here and she's dark. But she's actually just doing her lips. There it is. There's her pink lips. You see that? So this little block, I know it's probably been in there about 6 months. You can hardly tell they've done anything to it. It lasts forever. So here we are at the end of feeding, where there's the last remnants in the feeders. And I told you they get a little more talkative. So that's what's going on. But extra things I may do besides the feeding and the watering and the minerals depend on the time of the year. If it's summer right now and the pastures are green and lush and wonderful, then I might do the pools and water them down, you know, if it's hot, and you've seen videos about that. And it's fall right now, so it's kind of a mixture of pasture and hay. I have a hay bale here that they've been nibbling on for a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks or so. So that gives you an idea of how much hay they go through. There's 18 animals here, and that's 2 weeks worth. They've done pretty much half that bale. This year I had a suggestion to only unwrap half of the bale, or part of it, and I chose to do half, rather than the whole thing when it was first brought out here. Because with the whole thing, they end up making a big mess of it. They rub up against it, and a bunch of it falls on the ground, and then they don't want to eat it if it's on the ground. They want to eat it if it's on the bale, so then they just lay on it, and it becomes waste. So this was an effort to kind of minimize that waste, and it's worked out pretty good. There's still some, but not a lot. So what I'm going to do now is unwrap or reveal a bit more of the bale, since they've eaten so much of it down. If it was winter time and they'd be completely on the hay, then I'd have different locations with containers of hay that I would just be refilling every day off of bales like this. And when it gets to that point in the year, I'll show you how I do that too. Now I'm over by the boys' barn, and there are some days that I come to the boys first. It depends on how I want to enter the property, or if I intentionally want to come here because there's less to do, and then, you know, tackle the girl stuff. But today I came here second, so I pretty much do the same thing. I put out bowls for all of them. I check their water, I consolidate the poop piles, and just kind of in general check on things. Right now the young boys side has a bale of hay. The older boys don't. They have a huge pasture. Most of what, you know, I don't think any of it is overgrazed. And I just haven't gotten a bale over on that side yet. I do take some hay from the young boys side and put it over on the older boys, because some of them, they like to nibble on the hay, so I've done a bit of that. I'll probably continue to do that until I bring one over for the older boy side. But I'll set up the camera so you can kind of see what I do, but it's basically the same thing. These feeders over here for the minerals, it's, you know, serves the same purpose as over in the girls' barn. There's another one of these over for the older boys, so I just make sure that there's enough in there for them to eat it, you know, to have at any time. But I've topped all these bowls off with the minerals, and there tends to be some still left at the bottom when they're done with the pellet stuff. So what I'll do when I collect the bowls is consolidate all the minerals and then put them in their feeders, so there's no waste for that. So today their water is good. It's nice, nothing to do with the bale of hay that's over here. So I'll just wait for the youngins over here to finish their bowls and put them away, and that's it. Thanks for joining me today on Paca Tuesday. Have a great day.